Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Shreveport Metropolitan Planning Commission of Caddo Parish September meeting. And I'd like to ask that we would begin our meeting with invocation and pledge of allegiance. I'd like to ask if we would, Mr. Andrews would share in our invocation. Mr. Remedies, if you will, in our pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day, and once again, we thank you so much for forgiving us for all of the many deeds, thoughts, and perhaps maybe the actions that each one of us may have committed. Father, we thank you for health, strength, and we thank you for soundness of mind. We pray for wisdom and knowledge this afternoon as we entertain the requests from those of our citizens in this community in an effort to make it better. We thank you for this opportunity to be called servants. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, Mr. Remedies and Mr. Andrews, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of the Shreveport Caddo Parish Metropolitan Planning Commission. For public hearing agenda items, if you wish to make public comments on an application, we have MPC comment slips at the speaker stand next to the podium. And for future notification purposes, it is very important that you fill out a slip and drop it in the box when you come forward to speak. Please state your full name, your mailing address, and zip code before addressing the board. We will call each case on the agenda in order and hear first from the applicant, then those speaking in favor. 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. We will then hear from those wishing to speak against the application. Again, 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. One representative of the application can then speak in rebuttal if so desired. After hearing comments on each case, the board will then immediately deliberate on and vote on that case before moving on to the next case on our agenda. Please note that when the board is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment. Any member of the public may request a copy of the board's decision on a particular case by contacting our office at 318-673-6480 after 1:00 p.m. on Monday, or by accessing our website at shreveportcaddompc.com. For consent agenda items and other agenda items not requiring a public hearing, public comments can be made upon request by filling out an MPC comment slip. If comments are requested for a specific agenda item, the chair will offer an opportunity for those comments prior to the commission taking action on that agenda item. All of the MPC board's zoning recommendations are submitted either to the city council or the parish commission for final decision, depending on the location of the property in question. Please note that it is your responsibility to contact the appropriate governing body about their procedures as related to the matter that you are concerned with. Copies of this document and the phone numbers to contact the governing bodies are available on the table also next to the podium in the entryway of this room. As a courtesy, ladies and gentlemen, please remember to turn off all cell phones while the MPC board is in session. The commission values your testimony and appreciates your compliance with these guidelines. We will move to our agenda. Our first item on our agenda, item 5, is approval of our minutes from our August meeting. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Remedies, a second by Ms. Smith to approve the minutes of our August 1st meeting. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes, all opposed no. All right, that passes. Next on our item is our consent agenda items. We have one case number SP 2218. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, a second by Mr. Remedies to approve the consent agenda items on our agenda. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes. All opposed, no. That passes. That ends our consent agenda items. Anyone who is here in reference to case number SP-22-18. That's been taken care of, and it has passed. You certainly are welcome to stay, but you're as well free to leave if that's your only concern. Next, we have our public hearings. Our first public hearing is on case number C-52-18. It's a zoning request. Is there a representative of the applicant to speak? Welcome.
Good afternoon. Andy Craig with Moore & Associates, 1324 North Hearn, Suite 301, Shreveport, 71107. The case before you is a rezoning from RA to C4 for car dealerships. ORs are considering purchasing this property to relocate some dealerships there, the BMW, Acura, and Infiniti, with some others possibly down the road. But anyway, I wanted to point out to y'all on the notification of the map, it shows the entire property from 70th Street, East 72, Burt Coons. But actually, and there was consideration for that tract, but it got down to it, and the actual application is for 13 acres of that tract, which is basically the east half of that tract. I just want to make sure everybody's clear about that. That was not a last-minute decision, but it's pretty close to it when doing the application. So it's only 13 acres of that. That's approximately 25 acres there that you see. So, but they have option on some of the rest of it. You may be seeing it come about, in the not-too-distant future. But right now, they decided to only take down 13 acres of it. So I'll be glad to answer any questions, and we have the owner's rep here if y'all got any questions from any of them.
Mr. Craig, the line that's drawn there, that doesn't reference where that area is, because you said 25, and it seems like it's about halfway. Is that just indicating what the RA to C4 is, or is that some kind of geographical marking of where the 13 acres are?
Which line you're talking about?
I just saw this line right here.
Oh, yeah. That's approximately where the line
Okay,
would
so
be,
that-
the east of that.
From there to east.
Yeah,
back
that's
east.
right.
Okay, all right. Mr. Ramirez?
Yeah, that was my question. I guess you answered it. They're only going to purchase 13 acres of the property.
This what now?
They're only going to purchase 13 acres of the property.
At this time.
So they can't
And with-
request.
And there's options later on, but we'll come back to y'all if they exercise those options for any others. So they did have opportunity to get the whole thing, but they decided to take it down in pieces,
Very good.
as I understand it.
Any other questions? Okay. Mr. Young?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Purchasing is one question, but they're rezoning the whole block now.
No, we're only going to rezone what will be purchased, which is the 13 acres. That you see that shaded there is about 25 acres.
Okay.
And so
Well, I didn't
the
know if they
actual,
wanted to go ahead and rezone all of it up to
Right.
the C4 or not.
the seller did not prefer to do it that way, so best I understand it.
All right.
So the legal description that went with it is only for the 13 acres.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I think Stephen had something.
Mr. Jean, do you have something?
No, we were talking about Mr. Chair, that the map is incorrect. We only advertised 13 acres, and that's what would be rezoned.
Okay.
So everything is okay.
Okay.
So the public notice that went out to the
You're right,
public
correct.
is for the
Right.
correct
For the
amount. So
13,
just for the
okay.
record that we're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
this is-
correct those things, but his application is okay.
Very
And as you're aware, that's a vicinity map, it's just for reference only, it's not a legal document. What they submitted as far as in their application said 13 acres, and their legal description says 13 acres. I think a lot of times what the problem is that that is one large parcel, and oftentimes the assumption is that that's the entire tract is included when the map's made, but that map doesn't have any force of law. It's the legal description that they sent, and the application that is correct.
And I apologize for the confusion, because the initial stuff I sent to them, that's what it showed. So, but I didn't realize that's what it had carried on through.
Sure.
But we did change it for the legal notice and all.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Joseph?
Mr. Clark and Mr. Jean, The 13 that are at issue, are they on the intersection or, okay, that's.
That intersection there. The BMW track will be on the corner. That'll be the first one y'all see go in.
That's the one that I'm concerned with.
All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Craig. Is there anyone else here to speak in support of this application? Is anyone here to speak in opposition?
Hello, my name is Pastor O'Mara Dawson of the Spirit of Life Church, which is located directly across from where he's planning to put whatever is going to be put up there. We have looked up and down 70th Street. There are a lot of car dealerships that are already there. The thing that I'm in reference to is that I believe that one more would not be necessary. It's going to devalue the value of the neighborhood that we have. Another thing that I've been concerned about, we haven't received anything in reference to this. Sir?
I don't think this is the right one.
Her case would be.
Yeah,
Your case is on 7th Street.
yeah, on the 70th Street situation is not this particular case.
Okay,
It's
I'm sorry.
number 11.
That's okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Anyone else speak either in support or opposition to this application? All right. Seeing no-
Mr. Chair,
yes.
motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, second by Mrs. Smith to approve this application. Are any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, vote yes. All opposed, no. All right, it passes. Our next case is case number C-53-18, a zoning request. Is applicant here or is representative?
Good afternoon. Joseph Partain, architect, 1203 Martha Drive, Bossier City, Louisiana, 71112. Mr. Chairman, this item 8 and item 9 are the same parcel, and I can explain kind of both the rezoning and the special use if you'd like. Is that this time? Basically, the owner has a prospective tenant to take that building, which was originally the Haverty's Furniture Store, and then a Direct Buy and Stone America. And this is probably a much less traffic and retail use than any of those ever were. It's the warehouse use of it is for equipment, air conditioning equipment that would be of the residential size. So they need a warehouse, and they'll have some offices in the front, and then some showroom area for showcasing those products. But the site is really well landscaped. It's very well kept, and there will be no need for exterior storage because those type products need to be kept in a conditioned area. But the rezoning from the C3 to C4 was basically because it was the warehouse process. I think when the UDC came into alignment, it changed all that a little bit. So it's not really any different than it was, but trying to get it aligned into the UDC proper zoning. And then the special use was because of, I believe, warehouse. It has we'll have some trucks coming in there the same way it did before. It has docks, and so that's the process, and that's the type of business it is. If y'all have any questions, the owner's also here too, and the realtor, so they could answer any questions too.
Ms. Are there questions?
Mr. Partain, and just to reiterate, the building itself is staying just the way it is, no additions.
No.
You're preserving the open space just the way it is now. You're not going to put any additional openings towards
No.
the residential.
None at all. It stays just like it is.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
All right. Mr. Remedies?
This is for staff. Since this zoning change, would it have been allowed before under the old code?
Well, there was a special approval
Yeah.
that was granted for this, but it did not carry over because of it was no longer in place, so it had to be reestablished.
Okay, does a special approval just follow that business and that use, and when they get a new CO, they have to get another approval? Let's just so I understand.
Well, that use discontinued, the one that was originally approved by this board, so that discontinued, and so that was no longer non-conforming.
But what was the trigger? Was it the UDC or was it the closing of the business?
Well, it was the UDC. Anytime that you bring in, the new code, all of the other ordinances change now.
No, I
So
understand that. And the
yeah.
only thing I was getting at was that we had agreed that if they were going to bring property back up to allow their use that they had before, that we would waive their fee of $900, it looks like, on this application. So I just wanted to extend the courtesy if in fact that was.
That's not the case here. They did not, it was not rezoned. It was just that the code itself, and that, you can say that about every single district, changed. Some rights were given that weren't there before, some rights were taken away that weren't before. Every single district had that. So this would not qualify as a downzoning. It was not downzoned.
Okay.
And that was the key, Mr. Ramirez. It was not zoned like I-1 previously and down zoned to C.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I see what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I just wanted to just ask. Okay, no more questions.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in support of this application? Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition?
Hi there. My name is Irene Davis, and I live at 2833 Smithfield in Shreveport, which happens to be in the backyard of the discussed property for the rezoning. I've lived here for 32 years, and I'm one of the newbies in the neighborhood. My neighbor with me, Miss Burt, her house, she's lived in since the 50s, and another neighbor at the end of the blocks lived there since 1941. And my neighbor across the street's lived there 68 years, so we love our neighborhood and each other. I moved to Houston about 9 years ago to be around my grandkids, but Houston and my daughter were too much to handle, so I moved back here about 3 years ago. I have 6 rent houses in Shreveport, and one happens to be in Broadmoor on Anniston. It's a big, nice house. My daughter's argued for me to move to the Anniston house since it'll be safer, but I chose to move home. 2833 Smithfield is my home. That's where I raised my daughters when I divorced in '85, and this is my home. I've always been invested in my neighborhood for its well-being and safety. I definitely have the prettiest lawn and flowers on the street and probably the entire area. I take pride in my house and my yard. When I moved back from Houston, I felt like the sheriff's back in town for my street. I've been the one to speak out for the other neighbors that are not as bold as I am. I guess being divorced since '85 and raising 2 girls on my own, I had to be strong. So we have all gathered today to discuss the rezoning of the old Haverty's building from a C3 to a C4. And I realize that this new C4 was created just around a year ago. My thinking is that it was created to remove all the negative businesses that used to occupy C3 and get dumped into a C4. All the business on Uri Drive were C3, and so they never have to worry about what Southern Hills now has to contend with this C4 to be approved. Per the UDC use matrix, some of the businesses that can now exist only in a C4 are a rock crushing facility, which I'm sure will be very quiet to all the neighbors that don't work, a sexually oriented business, an amusement park, again, a very quiet business that I can enjoy hearing each day when I'm in my backyard, and there would be no needed restriction on that if they decided that. A nightclub, a reception facility, or an entertainment venue. And the entertainment venue could kind of be like the old Hirsch Coliseum when they had concerts, only a mini version. And personally, I'd like to know when I go to bed each night that I wake up the next morning and not be shot and killed from a stray bullet meant for someone in that parking lot after the show. This property is not being sold to a new owner. It's just being leased. I am a landlord. I know about leases. I know about tenants. They come and go and come and go again and again. So while this company would be positive, yeah, they have the air conditioning there, what happens when their lease expires and they leave? Then we're going to have a C4 zoned where all these other businesses I mentioned could then come in. And there's not going to be any special meetings for that after. So we don't need any more derogatory businesses coming. And who's to say that if it is after they leave, who's to say that the people that are now there, Brookshire's and CVS, that are all C3s, wouldn't just go ahead and be C4s because they, you know, they'll all jump ship. Everybody jumps ship for Southern Hills. And I can, you know, I would feel that it would be horrendous to everything around it. You'd be turning Southern Hills into an area like North Market. I live 1 mile away from Southwood High School, and every year I can hear that band practicing. And I live 1 mile away. I can only imagine the noise that I could hear if another business comes in under the C4 that I mentioned, the type of businesses that could. And I live in, this is 250 yards away from my backyard. And I don't understand why so few homes were included in this letter that was sent out. It was just, I went and got a petition for all the people in that circled area that was just up. And I've contacted a lot of people on Facebook concerning this rezoning matter. And many people wondered why they weren't notified either. But I realize that it looks like you only have to notify people 300 yards from the property. You know, if it's a negative business, it'll affect the entire area, not just my street and the houses, but all of Southern Hills. And I have many people wanting me to explain the zoning process, and I just learned about it myself from Alice at the zoning, and she helped to explain it to me. And a lot of people would have come to this meeting, but a lot of them have 8 to 5 jobs, and they can't get off to come. And like I say, I drew up a petition, and I had the 27 homes sign it. And every one of these people don't want to see our neighborhood damaged any worse than it already has been. The rich folks have all flown away from this once very nice and quiet neighborhood, and we poor folks are left behind since we can't afford to move just because. If the commission decides to grant a C4 against the wishes of the entire neighborhood that signed that petition, then it would seem that the city council and commission does not care about the neighbors who have strongly voiced our opinion to keep our neighborhood like it is. It would be a slap in the face to the people who've elected y'all to protect them. Mr. Fleury stated he would draw up restrictions so that it could be placed permanently on this property if it does go to C4. I now know that you can't put restrictions on it, and he didn't know that, or at least when he talked to me a couple of weeks ago. But he also told me yesterday that this C4 was a done deal. He said a done deal. And I was like, okay, so I called Alice and I said, so should we not bother going to the meeting? And she said, I don't know where in the world he could come up and say it's a done deal when there hadn't even been a vote on it.
All right. Ms. Davis, the time has expired. If you would bring your comments to a close.
Okay, well, this right there, C3, that's what they're trying to change, the old Havertys. Right behind that, in this little circle there, is a little tan box. It's not a tan box, it's my house. It's my home. And that's Miss Burt's home next to me. And I would hope that y'all would respect the fact that we want to keep our neighborhood what we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Davis? Ms. Davis, there are questions. Did you have one, Ms. Andrews?
No.
Ms. Smith?
Yes, I have a question. I hear you say it's a done deal, but it's not a done deal at all. Did he try to meet with you all and let you know what he was doing?
I talked to him a couple of weeks ago when it was supposed to be September 5th. And I called him immediately, and he said, you know, when I told him I'd gone and seen all the different things that it could be with a C4, and he said, oh, no, I don't want that either. I'll put a restriction on it. And so then I did a follow-up call for him the day before, and he called me back yesterday. And he was more or less, I felt, trying to persuade me and Ms. Burt not to come because it was a done deal. He says, you know, it's a done deal. And I was like, so then when I called Alice at the zoning, she said, well, I don't see how anybody could say it's a done deal because there hadn't even been a vote on it. But it made me very leery to think that a councilman's telling me it's a done deal, and that's what I kind of thought this meeting was for, was so that we could, you know, have votes and you could see who the people are, and we're not just the little, you know, square boxes up there. We're real people, and we don't want it to change. So that was mine. But he told me a done deal, and that's, you know, and that's when I called Alice, and she said, I would very strongly recommend that you attend that meeting.
Yours would be in 300 feet?
I am, where you see the C3, I'm like, right there, right where you got your little red pen. That's me.
Thank you.
That's me.
Did you get a notification?
Yeah, I got that. But then they redid the meeting time because it was supposed to be for September 5th. And so luckily I brought the petition down here and I had my name and phone number on it. And so some man called to tell me, hey, the meeting's been changed. Otherwise, we've been pretty upset to have driven down here and parked and everything and then find out, oh, the meeting's been canceled. So, but yeah, we did get notifications, but that's just kind of a concern for us when a politician tells me it's a done deal before a vote. I'm kind of a little worried about it. So I hope y'all understand our concerns.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Clark.
I was just wondering if we could get a clear, succinct expression of what her concerns really are. in
It's
relationship
not-
to the rezoning to the C4, because the next case would be the special use
Right.
permit, where restrictions can be attached to that approval.
Right.
Okay.
If you
Now,
have some concerns, we just need to know what those concerns are.
okay, well, that would be the thing that we're concerned about. Like, the air conditioning business would be great. We want businesses to come to Southern Hills. I have no problem. I mean, it's going to be an 8-to-5 job. I mean, I have no problem with that. I worry about if, like I say, it's a tenant, they move out. It's not like it's being sold, and we know somebody's invested $250,000 and they're going to stay there a while. This is a tenant, and tenants come and go. So we're worried that it could be a sexually oriented business. It could be a rock crushing facility. It could be, what were the other, the entertainment venue, like the old Hirsch
And
Coliseum?
all of those
Miss-
uses
is
that
that-
you referred to, if I may, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
all those uses you referred to would not be allowed
Right.
in this
So
district.
I'm just curious, how would we know that, though? Because from the matrix I got, it didn't have like an S or it did have like an S and a P. But, for special or, it could go ahead and do it. But for some of these businesses I mentioned, it didn't say like it was going to have another meeting to just slide another business in on us.
The sexually oriented businesses, they're determined by measurement and they're not allowed in
Right.
the district. That's the first thing. The rock crusher, it would have to have a temporary use permit that would put the necessary restrictions that you would have concerns about on that, but we probably would not issue a temporary use permit based on where the location
Okay.
of this building is. And the amusement park is not a use by right. They would have to come back here in order to get permission to do the amusement park.
But what about like the entertainment venue?
That's the amusement park entertainment venue.
Okay, so that would be two separate entities. Okay, because it seemed to me like the amusement park and the thing, and also a reception hall. Like, I guess if somebody gets married and then at nighttime, at midnight, people coming out in the parking lot,
And they would be restricted into what they could do at that location.
they could, and that's what's going to be the next thing we're going to do is it's going to be.
It's going to talk about the use that's being proposed, but they would be coming out in like a event center. I think is what you're talking about.
Yes, that's the thing we're concerned about. So it wouldn't. So that's one of the things we're going to discuss for the next one.
We won't be discussing that, but that would not be allowed.
That would not. Okay. Well, you've made me feel better. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Glad I made somebody feel better.
Just don't go back. It's getting scary in my neighborhood, but we're determined to stay there, and
And we're determined to ensure that you can.
Well,
stay
and
there.
I thank you very much for that, because we love the neighborhood. I told my kids, I said, no, I'm not going to Broadmoor House. I'm going to go back home, and that's home.
Very good.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else interested in speaking in opposition? If not, the applicant certainly is welcome to have rebuttal if necessary or so desired.
My name is Rand Fallbaum. I live in Bossier City, P.O. Box 51907, 71171. I own the building. Was born and raised in Shreveport. Been here my whole life. I have no issue with the concerns that the residents have. I've owned this building a long time. I'm certainly not interested in a sexually oriented business in my building, a rock crushing operation in my building. I'm not interested in an amusement park in my building or having it be an event center. So I'm happy with those restrictions myself, because as long as I own the building, that's not going to happen. The use that we're proposing is a suitable use, in our opinion, for a warehouse, and I would hope we could add some more jobs to this area and bring in a warehouse, and we're very, very happy to have that conversation, and we have no issue with the concerns, because we have the same concerns. We wouldn't want that to occur in our building. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, second by Mrs. Smith to approve. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes. All opposed, no.
It's not a
It's not.
Mhm.
There we go.
Yeah? All right. Thank you. It passes. Next is case 9, which is companion case, special use permit and site plan.
Joseph Partade, architect, 1203 Martha Drive, Bossier City, Louisiana, 71112. In my meeting with staff, basically I was involved in, I think, the 2007, approximately 10 or 11 years ago, when this was approved for the direct buy Stone America business. And so as that went away because of the UDC and the changes, that not staying in business, there was reasons where this special use came about. So we have spelled out, and the owner spelled out the use of this property, and that's what it's being zoned for. And as he stated, there would be any change would be, I guess, have to be brought back for the board anyway. So it's for that specific use.
Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, one of the things that I asked earlier, and I'd like to point out, if we put the site plan up for a moment, because the site plan is also something that you're approving as a part of this case. This board did an excellent job when this was brought before, when they approved the previous site plan. It was an extended use district, which allowed specifically the warehouses, very similar to what we're doing today, to reestablish it, because all extended uses went away. But when this body approved this, they approved it with a site plan that was very well thought out. And if you'll notice on the north end of the site, that's closest to the residence that we just spoke, that is there's a drainage area that runs through there, and there's also detention. And as you notice, there's no activity that occurs in that portion of the site. And you'll also see, as you look at the site on the west side, there's not any activity in any openings other than emergency egress that go up from that building. So there's no openings, there's nothing. That's the reason I asked the question earlier, were there any expansions to this facility plan? Were there any modifications to the facility? Because on that west side, the building itself acts as a screen and a buffer to the residents. All of the activity where the trucks occur occurs on the west side. So this was a very well thought out plan that was approved by this body before, and they're really basically not changing anything about the way that functions, except one thing that they're not going to do that was allowed before was the outside storage. They're actually taking something off the table. So this plan, I would have to give kudos to previous staff members who worked on this. It actually predated my employment here, but they did a very good job in advising you in this plan. We think that this is very sensitive to the neighbors in the way that it's laid out.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chief. Any questions? Thank you. Anyone else to speak in support of this application? Anyone to speak in opposition?
Mr. Chair, motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, a second by Mrs. Smith to approve. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes, all opposed no. That passes. Next case is case number 10, a zoning request, case number dash 55-18. There's,
My name is Meredith Forrester. I'm the property manager for A.E. Robertson Specialty Company, 5030 Old Morgansport Road, Shreveport 71107. I had requested a change of code at 1153 McKinley. I'm requesting from I-2 to IMU. My renter there wants to expand his business to do body work. He does tinning now. That's the big building at the very end on McKinley. That's all of our property in there. And I understand the zoning for the acres was changed about a year and a half ago. I didn't know it had been changed. And I was told we had to get all that changed.
okay. All right. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Is anyone else here to speak in support of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition? All right.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Joseph to approve, a second by Mrs. Smith. There are no other questions. All in favor vote yes, all opposed no. All right, that passes. Next item on our agenda, item number 11, case number C-57-18, a special use permit and site plan.
Good afternoon. Rusty Pipes, 7206 Bobtail Circle, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71129. Good afternoon, members of the MPC board. I want to entertain that that a lot of y'all have heard of who Pipes is and how we represent our businesses. We have a lot of auto parts wrecking yards that look a lot better than a lot of the used car lots in the area. Our two car lots look a lot better than most other car lots. Pipes Auto Sales provides very dependable vehicles at wholesale prices. This is a value to the middle lower, to the lower middle income that helps our society, the city of Shreveport, and also, yes, my new neighborhood. Pipes is a pillar of the state of Louisiana as well as the city of Shreveport. Our tax revenue, Pipes produces over $500,000 of tax revenue each and every year, including property taxes. That's $20 million that we have paid the city of Shreveport and the state of Louisiana since our first store in 1972. We also employ between 50 and 60 employees at any given time. We had some opposition about this, this lot becoming a car lot because their reason was crime. If crime is the reason for the area, we want you to know that we have professional security cameras and lighting that slows crime down. We have been instrumental in helping our local police department by supplying video footage in their investigations. At one location at Hearn and Midway, if y'all are familiar with it, was littered with crime 3 years ago before we bought that location. Today, crime is almost non-existent. This building has been vacant that we purchased over 2 years ago. I'm sorry, the building was vacant 2 years. We just recently bought it. And we are trying to revitalize the neighborhood and the business district. We know from the insurance statistics that vacant properties attract squatters, vandals, and burglars. Also, there is little to no maintenance on the lawn care if no income is provided. There are already 7 car lots in the area. To proximity of this property, why should the property not get the same and equal opportunity to produce revenue and taxes for the city along with the other people on the street, employing people also from the neighborhood? This is one. There is a location perpendicular actually to this property, so I mean they're in close proximity. The traffic was another concern. We've also remedied that with a site plan that the MPC and I have been working together, and we've come up with a really good strategic plan to cut off the northwest the entrance in so there's no traffic and whatnot. I've been really working with the MPC. Also, we've put this through City Council in 2 different occasions. They both times voted unanimous, and so they obviously think it's a great deal. Thank you for your time.
All right, Mrs. Smith.
Yes. I don't know. Is your name Mr. Piper?
Yes, ma'am. Pipes.
Pipes.
P-I-P-E-S.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I did watch the city council meeting, and they spoke highly about your business.
Thank you.
And when you was talking about crime, I was glad to hear you say that crime is down because of the cameras or whatever you want to call it,
Yes,
security there. And jobs, that's what we need here.
Yes.
And I was just proud of what I heard, the city councilmen, and they did vote unanimous.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, from just observation driving that street, yes, it is a lot of car lots, but I can say that you are one of the best ones on that street.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in support of this application? All right.
Hi, my name is Denny Duran. I'm a pastor in town. I live at 5717 Lakefront Drive. Did I give everything I needed to give? Is that
Yes,
it?
sir. That's good.
All right. I came to speak in support of this, and the reason I did is because I came to really vouch for my friend. Rusty Pipes is somebody that I've known for a lot of years, over 20 years, and I've watched his life, and I've observed his character, and he's exactly who he says that he is. I was so glad that our pastor friend came early a moment ago, so I was able to see that she stood here and that she is a pastor of a church there, and there are concerns. Maybe that's why I came, is to be able to say to her that she is receiving a partner in her mission in her community. And I don't know about the other 7 dealerships that are there, but I can tell you this man is a partner with whatever God is doing in this city. And she stood here as a female ordained pastor. Interestingly enough, 3 of Mr. Pipe's pastors are female. That happens to be something that is a part of our church and our discipline as well, is ordaining women. And so as you stand here, I want you to understand there's not only no disrespect or nobody moving in to discount your opinion, but it's just the opposite. And when Mr. Pipes asked me, he said, Pastor, do you think that you could just come by? Maybe you'll get a chance to talk to the pastor and to let them know who I am. One of the ways I can let you know, Pastor, who this man is on Wednesday night we have the smallest crowd of our week. You could shoot a cannon through our sanctuary and not hit anybody, I'm telling you. There aren't many people there. But there's one family that's there every Wednesday night, and that's this family, because they are truly committed to the purpose of Jesus Christ in the earth. And when they come into this neighborhood, they are coming with who they are and with all the purpose that is in their heart. And Mr. Pipes has expressed an appreciation to just be sensitive to this church and to be sensitive to this pastor. And what I can tell you, Pastor, is that we appreciate the work you're doing in the city. We thank God for you. And this man will not hurt you. He'll help you. And he'll help you with your mission in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a question?
I wanted to ask him a
Hey,
question.
Pastor Duron. Wish we get this thing working, because I can't see everybody thinking.
Oh, okay.
That's my insurance. Yes.
I heard you kept stressing about the partnership.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, have you tried to partnership with the church that may be in opposition of the, you understand where?
Yes, I didn't know who that church was till today, but I plan to get to know the pastor.
Yeah, because I know that could bring on a good
Sure.
fellowship
Yeah.
if you partnership. And it may be something you all can offer them.
Absolutely, and we'd love to.
Yes.
We absolutely would love to. I didn't know if this was the forum to extend that, but
Okay.
just meeting the pastor or seeing the
All right.
pastor for the first time, we'd absolutely love to do that, and that's been our history.
Good, God bless you.
Hey, thank you for that, Ms. Smith. Anyone else?
Any other questions? Thank you, Pastor. Anyone else here to speak in support of this application?
Of all things, my name is Walter T. Pipes, Sr., and I live at 332 Cross Creek, Bossier City, Louisiana. We lived here in Shreveport forever. And I'm up to speak, of course, in favor. Rusty is my son, and we've been in the business here a long time. I stood before the city council 50 years ago with our first business in Shreveport as we got out of the Navy. And I've stood before y'all many times afterwards in different businesses that we've started and built. Rusty, I'm 78 years of age, and Rusty has picked a medallion up and running with it. And I'm very, very proud of him, as you can imagine. But his word is his bond, and you can believe that. I want to thank y'all for what you do, because you've taken a lot of time of your valuable time and our time making these decisions. So thank you. And again, I'm in favor of my son's moving forward. He's going to sure make a silk purse out of a sow's ear with that place, the location. When I was coming up, 70th Street was a real jewel. It was a real, and it's turned itself into something very terrible. And that doesn't need to continue. We need to bring folks in that'll make a lot of changes. Rusty made a statement, but he's going to spend several $100,000 making that place really nice. I can't imagine being opposed to that. But there's an old saying, there's none so blind as those that refuse to see. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any question?
Hearing none, thank you, Ms. You had a question? Okay. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? I mean, support. Anybody else in support? Oh, support, okay.
How everybody doing today? My name is Timmy Ford. I stay at 1624 Michelle Street. I work at Pipes on Midway and Hearns. This man gave me an opportunity to do something in the neighborhood and support my family. You know, the crime, people that's less fortunate to get cars, and people that used to be on the bus stop, not on bus stops no more. Working class people that's barely making it, he made it affordable in that neighborhood on Midway and Hearns. You know, so like I say, you know, I'm glad to support Mr. Pipes, the employees that work with us, and all we're trying to do is expand and help this neighborhood out where we can make a difference as well, you know. So thank y'all for your time, and appreciate you.
Anyone else here to speak in support of this application?
Hi, my name is Bailey Pipes, 7206 Bobtail Circle, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71129. I'm here to speak in favor, obviously, of my father and Pipes Auto Sales, but a couple people have stood before y'all today telling you about the character of my father when all the things are really very true, but I just wanted to come and bring forth some facts and statistics into the matter. As a former employee and one who possesses the name, I can say with pride that Pipes has been owned and operated and thriving for over 50 years. Pipes doesn't have the mindset of only a company, they have the mindset of a family. This is what sets Pipes apart from other businesses. They are built on Christian values, quality, and care. They take time with every customer and employee to build strong and personal relationships. Yes, these personal aspects will come to the community with Pipes, but many other progressive associations will arise as well. Based on the 2017 U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 39% of Shreveport is below poverty level. However, according to Our World and data, when a successful, flourishing business is placed in a low-income, financially challenged economy, the economical value of that city and surrounding area increases by at least 26%. That means by allowing Pipes to be a part of this community, we could potentially lower the poverty status of Shreveport metropolitan area. Allowing Pipes to occupy this location will be prosperous for everyone in the Shreveport area, especially those within a 15-mile radius. When you accept Pipes Auto Sales to the community, you are also accepting opportunities, growth, and a family. Pipes Auto Sales firmly believes that 2911 West 70th Street is the location for growth. So we invite you to join us and to be a part of something way bigger than just another car lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Is anyone else here to speak in support of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Bishop Carthorne. I'm the pastor of the Church of the Name of Jesus Christ in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I'm here in opposition to putting another used car facility on the corner of West Canal and 70th Street. And first of all, let me ask Attorney Joseph, Forgive me, I was supposed to send you something through email. I wasn't able to send it, so I just passed it out to you, secretary, when they do it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, what I'd like to say is concerning this issue, giving honor to Mr. Pikes over here and thanking him and his dad and all of them for the things that they've said, knowing that everyone is being considerate of what they want in this hour. You know, not really considered of what we can say, what the people want. Because in the hour we live in, I hope that we have not come to the place as they are with, even with, we can say, Judge Kavanaugh. Everybody's made a decision already what they're going to do. But I think that people today should be more, we should be more concerned about the people in the neighborhood and what they desire. Now, as far as from Mansfield Road to Jewella, there's approximately, he said 7, just about 9, we'll say 79 used car dealerships there already who are not doing anything. And I would that before any decision made anyway, that you all would probably, if you haven't already done your homework and went out there and looked at that area and see, it's an eyesore. Not saying that what he's going to do isn't going to be good or whatever, but for our neighborhood, we need more than just a good used car dealership. We need more than that. Therefore, we, the church named Jesus Christ, and the members of our neighborhood are in strong opposition of placing a used car lot at this location. Last month, we came before the city council and with a signed petition like I have for you all today concerning approximately 75 to 150, probably it's 100 to 150 because we've gone out and gotten more, of the citizens in the neighborhood who voiced their opposition to the zone, to putting a used car lot dealership there. Now, I've gone and talked with the people in the neighborhood, and I canvassed it myself. A lot of them, like I told you, the first time I came, didn't receive a letter. Some now, a few did receive the second letter, the letter you sent out for it to happen on the 5th of September. Okay, and the one we canceled, we got it late, but the meeting was also already been held. By the time we got the letter, you know, it was over with. Okay, so but we did get that letter, but a lot of people still hadn't received their letters in the neighborhood. A lot of people wanted to come, but a lot of people weren't able to come because they work. We had about 5 people who were here that had to get up and leave. They were here to represent an opposition. We still have a few people here that are still left. Another pastor, Pastor John Bell, was here. And then we have also Pastor, let me see what the name is. Have another pastor here, the one was here. Dawson, Pastor Dawson, he also has a property right next door, and my property is right behind it. And he had to leave. And all the people that I've talked with are in strong opposition of it. At this time, our neighbors of this community also voiced that they had not received notice of this happening. As it was stated at the city council meeting on August 25th, anywhere within 3,500 radius of the place, letters were sent. We also voiced how there are 9 different used car lots on the strip that are not profiting our neighborhood at all, but in fact are depreciating the value of our neighborhood. So should we place another car lot here, hoping for a different outcome? We say no. We also had a few conversations with the owner, Mr. Rusty Pipes, and we respectfully voiced our opposition to the car lot being placed here in our neighborhood. Not saying we have anything personal or any personal vendetta with his company or with him. That's out of the question. But one thing that I would like to address is that the negative untruth statements that were said about me in my absence in the last meeting. Yes, we have a few conversations, but during those conversations we expressed how we felt, not just the church, but people of the community, what they're expecting from this. And if we wanted to question someone's character, we wouldn't discuss things, especially about a pastor. that was said in the last meeting, which you all may not be aware of that. But I would like to say also that we're here, and we're here to voice the opposition, because we do have other things that we prefer to be done in the community other than just another used car lot. The thing is, it doesn't matter how nice it's going to be. The thing is, do we need it? Does the community need it? And if the community doesn't need it, regardless how good it's going to be, how productive it's going to be, how the lawns are going to be kept, and how the fence is going to be put up, and how he's going to have protection for his vehicles, well, that's not going to profit us at all in any type of way. The poverty standard in our neighborhood is not that high. We know that a lot of these car dealerships are coming at this time, and they're getting ready for the January is coming, and the people get their paychecks, so they have a lot of cars they want to sell, and he says he's going to have cars going to be less than $3,000. So a $3,000 car to me isn't a car that's going to really value the people in my neighborhood maybe for a year or two. Then they have the same problem. So we just asking that the committee would look at it. Also, we're seeing that it can increase drug activity, robberies, vandalism, increase traffic in our neighborhood. We have children that gets off school buses right there at that corner there, 2 different school buses right there. It's going to increase traffic there. It may increase illegal activity, unwanted activity in our neighborhood. These are things that we, as a people in our neighborhood, are asking that you all would look at and consider this, and before you just jump and give them an opportunity to put up a used car lot in our neighborhood. So we are praying that you will consider our objection and disapprove the change today, because even though it passed the city council, I don't think it was 100%. You all got the records. You can look. It wasn't a 100% approval of it. It was not 100% approval, even though it was said. There are things that our people in our neighborhood just don't want. And we have black people, we have white people, we have Mexicans, and I've talked to them all. And all of them said the same thing. We didn't get a letter, say, hey, we don't need another used car dealership. We just don't need it. It has nothing to do with Mr. Pikes at all. It has nothing to do with his business skills. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with what the people want. And the people have said they don't want it. And that's all that I have. And you have a list there in your hands there of the people that have signed it. You can call them or write them, and they will tell you. And before you make a decision, I would that you all, if you haven't, would go out, drive down that little strip. Drive down that little strip just from Mansfield Road to Jewella. You count the car dealerships. You look at what they're doing. You see what the cars out there. They visit those car lots sometimes maybe once a week or whatever. The fences are up on some of them. Nobody's there. It doesn't matter whether he's going to have a beautiful one or not. The thing is, it's not wanted. And if the council, our Metropolitan Planning Commission can receive that, it's just not wanted in the neighborhood. Has nothing to do with the business skills. Has nothing to do with how it's going to look. We have enough already. So I pray before you make a decision that you would drive down that strip for yourself and see. And I'm sure there's other places in Shreveport that they can put those up also. There's other places, maybe on Bert Coons, maybe on Erie Drive. You know, there's other places they can be put up. I'm sure of that, where that the people are thriving a lot more, and maybe they'll want a $3,000 car. And that's all I have. Thank you. Is there
any questions?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yeah.
I didn't push this, but sir, I know you called to me, but I just didn't return your call. But basing this on where you said the reason for the objectives as follows. And you went on and you listed about 5 of them. And as a pastor, you feel in your heart that this is going to increase drug activities. And all of this, what you have listed.
All I have on here, I feel that it will do it. It will do it because what's going to happen is when you have things that people want, people will get out and they will break in, they will steal, and it will cause more, and when I say it's going to cause more drug activity, because they have more things they can get to. So the cameras don't stop people from breaking in and stealing.
It depends on the camera you have. If it's talking to you, you understand? If you hear and I can see what's going on there, I don't think you're gonna, I don't know. But I'm just looking at what you list here.
I had a neighbor just the other day in my area, a neighbor,
yes,
and he was at work, and he called the police because somebody was stealing something or about to steal something from his yard. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you can talk to them if you got speakers out there, but that's not going to stop them from getting what they want. There's nothing stop people from doing what they want to do, and I think you're aware of that just like I am. We can put up all kind of fences, all kind of barriers, but when somebody wants something, if they already own drugs, it doesn't matter what kind of defense you put up. They're going to get there, they're going to get it, and then not only that, after they get that, once they start again doing that, then they're going to come to my church. Then they're going to come to the pastor's church here. Then they're going to come to the other pastor that left. Then they're going to start going into the other homes. You see, and more other people will be coming into our neighborhood that don't really come there. You see, we have enough already on our plate. Enough already. And that's when, like I said, I canvass the neighborhood. And I know that you all are looking on the business top end of it and trying to fill up buildings. But the thing is that if it's not wanted, we can see that, we'll see this, no matter how nice it is, whatever God says, it will come to pass. And if God doesn't want it there, like we don't want it there, and that's the reason, it will not prosper. That's all I have.
Any other questions? Mr. Joseph. Oh, Mr. Joseph.
Pastor, I'd like to pick up right there. What I hear you say is that you don't want anything there, then, to the extent that any business would bring traffic and would bring people who would ordinarily be in the neighborhood. I struggle to understand, and I appreciate your position, don't take me wrong. I appreciate the sincerity. I appreciate the fact that you and Pastor O'Meara are engaged and have come down to voice your opposition. But I'm concerned as I listen to particularly the last line of statements that you asserted, that there won't be any particular type of business, irrespective of what it is.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, what then would you countenance in the neighborhood in terms of a business?
Okay, you could have daycare, you could have something for youth, you could have some sort of other things that come into our neighborhood that's going to help and increase unity in the neighborhood. You know, to help the people, the youth. You know, our youth are having a big problem. If you see the guys walking over there in our neighborhood, if you walk over there, that's not going to do nothing but open their eyes up to say, hey, I'm looking for something else I can get into. I just stopped three young guys today. They walked with their pants down, with their shirts off. I talked to them. And it's going to cause them more problems because there's more to their disposal. Yeah, more to their disposal. I just had my license plate taken off of one of my vehicles out on our parking lot. You're just taking out because somebody wanted.
What do you attribute that?
What I attribute that to?
Yes, sir.
Vandalism, to the spirit that's in the world today that we're dealing with. You know, if people see something they want, they don't want to buy it, and they see they can get it, they're going to get it from you, from me, from anybody they want to. It's not attributed to a car dealership. You know, it's attributed to the spirit of the world that we're in right now. And
any other questions? All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition to this application?
Hello again. My name is Omera Dawson, pastor of the Spirit of Life Church, which is right across the street from where they're planning to do this car lot. I want to start out first, Mr. Joseph, you were talking about some other, what other businesses could be located there. I want to address that first because I don't see how the business that he's planning to open would be of any benefit to the neighborhood that's there, to the community that's there, unless they're coming to give him some type of profit. But I don't see how it would profit us. What the other pastor was talking about was something that would be a benefit to our community. He has canvassed the neighborhood all around that area, and there was no one that was in favor of that. I'm a new person moving in there. I haven't been in there 6 months. But I'm against that for the same reasons that he's showing. I don't see how it would benefit our community. Not that I'm against business. I also own a music school. So I'm sure that business is necessary for us to survive. But what he was talking about, the young people that are walking by, I see that on a daily basis because I'm there most of the week. And there's nothing for them to benefit them from the business that he's planning to come in. I was also thankful for what Pastor Duran had said about him, and I'm glad to hear that his heart and intent is with the church. But we often know that because that's that way with the church, it doesn't always translate when it comes to business. Sometimes when their heart is right, the business side of them is going in a different way. And we want something that will be of benefit to the community. The community that's there is against that. I'm personally against that, having moved there and seeing, like he said, the pastor was asking if you drove down 70th and you see the others that are there. They said it was 7. I think I counted 9 also. And you see no benefit to the community. So what's needed, I don't believe it would be another car dealership that would bring no benefit to the community that it's in. I would hopefully request that you would consider the feelings of the neighborhood, like the other lady that was talking and seemed to have come to some conclusion concerning Haverty's. Her heart was made glad by the restrictions or whatever he said he would not be interested in doing, and what the owner said he would not be interested in doing. Our hearts are not being made glad by just hearing that it's something that's going to bring the community together, because it's tearing us apart to see that all of us are in opposition of something that you have the authority to stop, so that our hearts would be made glad where we are, that our neighborhoods would still be of the same value instead of being like the other 7 or the other 9, whatever the number is, that bring no value to us, that bring no value to our neighborhoods, that bring no value to our community. That you would consider that, each one bringing no value to us, it would be of value to Mr. Pipes, and that would be a blessing to him. But it's no value to where we are. The other 7 have been no value to us, bringing no value as far as helping us as a community to be united together. Thank you.
Any questions for Pastor Dawson? Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition to this application? Let me just say, I'm not being out of turn. We go with support and then opposition, and so I apologize that we have run out of it. Just a moment. We will consider, if you let me finish the people who have opposition, then we'll see what we do. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm in opposition. I am a member of the Church in the Name of Jesus Christ, where our pastor, Bishop Cawthorn, has come and stated and opposed opposition to the building of a used car lot. And again, like he said, I don't think we're questioning the character of Mr. Pipes. That's not in question, because everyone stated, even Ms. Doherty stated, or the pastor stated, that he's a good person. The question or the concern is the community. I've been a member of our church a very long time. We've been stable there for almost 20-something years. So I come and I go and I see, so on a regular basis. So we see the car lots that's being built there. We see that there's no prospering. We see they're there for just a season. You know, they're just there for like almost tax purposes. You know, like you said, when people get their tax, you know, they go and then he said he'll have cars for under $3,000. So that's just like, just a pop-up something. And our concern is, again, it's the community and also our church building. We're right there and the car lot is there. It used to be a bank there, you know. Nothing was wrong with that. You know, that was benefiting the community and the church as well. So and the concerns are, again, crime related. You know, crime, it will block the view of our church. It'll interfere with this, make the, you know, like you said, the look of it bad. And it's 9 car lots already there. 9 to 10 or 11 car lots already there. And again, we haven't seen anything different. We haven't seen a change or being prosperous to the neighborhood. We as a church, we go out daily or monthly. We have yearly, you know, annual meetings with the community. We do stuff for the community. We have annual drives where we go out and, you know, just build the community. We feel that it just wouldn't prosper, you know, our community. He may just came at a bad time. Maybe if it was just 1 or 2 lots, you know, it would have been a perfect time. But at this time, like our pastor said, it's 9 car lots there. It's 9 to 10, 11 car lots there. And it looks bad. Like he said, you can go out on that script or whatever and just look at it. It's a car lot here, car lot there, car lot there. So yeah, that's frustration. Why we need another used car lot? Maybe the car lot you know, it will look good. That's good. It'll look good. He have cameras there. But again, cameras doesn't stop anything. We all know that. We all know that's why police come and ask, do you have a camera? Because it didn't stop a break-in. It didn't stop a crime being committed. But someone had a camera, so cameras won't stop it. And we just want to oppose it because it's not beneficial to us as a neighbor.
Let me ask you if you would did not get your name and address for the record.
Sir?
Name and address for the record.
I'm sorry, my name is Charlotte Brown.
Address.
Address of the church or my address?
No, your
my address is 8474 Swan Loop. Thank you. But I visit my church on a daily basis. That's like my second home.
We just need to have that for the record for all
speakers. I'm sorry.
That's
yes,
okay.
sir.
Yes, Ms. Smith has a question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I hear you all keep talking about how many car lots on the street.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you think for a moment, we have a church, and I'm talking about in my neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am.
As I ride around, I see a church on just about every corner. But the church is in us, you know that. Right. That's all I wanted to say. Yes, we have a church, and you know the purpose. I won't go into detail.
Right.
But we have a church on every corner. And I go down that, what you call West Canal 70, and that's why I asked the pastor about all what we're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Then if a church is on every corner, you know what we're supposed to do.
Right, and we do. And we have prayer meetings at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've been coming to our church at 4 o'clock in the morning and praying for our community, you know, praying for the members and the citizens of that community, or even in the world. So we want to feel safe, you know, and we do feel like that just will increase negativity, vandalism, increase population, increase a lot of company. And it does because, I mean, we all know that things go on undercover. He may be a good person of character, and I'm not questioning that. We're not questioning that at all. That has not anything to do with it. You don't know. He said it'll bring jobs. It could bring jobs. Are you going to employ those people in the neighborhoods? Going to benefit them? How we know the characters, you know, that. So this is an experiment. If you haven't analyzed it while you're experimenting, then we don't know the outcome. So all our bishop is saying is consider it. And you don't live, you know, if you don't live there, if you don't visit there on a daily basis, you wouldn't have, you know, that consideration. But if you go out and see it, like you said, Ms. Smith, there's churches on every corner, and it is, and that's a good thing for the neighborhood, a good thing. And so we're there at that church in that location and we just have our concerns, we want to voice it, because if we don't voice our opinions about it, we'll just let anything inject anything there, and there's a change. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. We're good. We've been there 20-something years. 20-something years. And we've had prayer meetings, you know, we've had different activities going on. We're not saying or questioning his character. We're just saying we're safe right now, and we don't feel like a used car lot is another business that will profit us or that will help us right now at this time. That's all.
Okay, that's it. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else to speak in opposition? All right. Seeing. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Sandra Cawthorn. I'm a member of the Church in the Name of Jesus Christ, and the church is located right behind, amen, the place where he's want to put his used car lot. So what we're concerned about, we are concerned about the neighborhood, and you know, can I address what you said about churches on every corner? Yes, ma'am, because that's a soul-saving station on every corner. And we need the churches, and the Bible says that we shouldn't forsake to assemble ourselves together as we see the days approaching. So the church is where we come together at, amen. So I want to say, amen, praise God, I don't see where it'll benefit the community. I really don't. But you know what? A nice community center there, or bookstore there, amen, praise God. Those are some, amen, I believe that would be nice for the community. And, you know, we have young men that are walking the streets, like our pastor says, that really need somewhere to go. And I believe if we had something, I know the church is there, but if we, again, amen, praise God, we would like to know what is going to benefit us. Is it going to benefit us? Now, we have services, and I know, amen, Mr. Pikes will have a car lot there, and they'll possibly be open at the same time we'll be having church. So then we'll have, again, a lot of different people that hadn't been in that community will be coming in that community, and we're concerned about it. So we oppose, amen, having a car lot there. Any questions?
Any questions? Could you do this again? It did state your name, but address for the record.
Okay. Sandra Cawthorn, 944 Winter Gordon Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71107.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is anyone else here to speak in opposition? All right. Let me, before I offer the opportunity for Mr. Pipes or his representative to speak in rebuttal, all of those here, because of we went in order of support and opposition, as to not overlook anyone. If you are here in support, if you could just stand, all of those who are here in support. Thank you. For the record, and all of those, I'm sorry again. All right. Thank you. You may be seated. All those here who are in opposition, who are still here, I know some people left, but if you're still here in opposition, would you stand? All right. Thank you. Mr. Pipes, if you are interested, you certainly can have a moment of rebuttal.
I really respect y'all's time, and I really appreciate everybody, even the opposition. Thank y'all for spending your day today. I apologize that it's taken so long, but I just want to leave you with a few questions and comments. We keep saying 7 to 9, 7 to 9. The reason why that is because y'all probably think it's 9. I think it's 7 because I wouldn't even consider 2 of those places car lots. You're right, they're despicable. They need to have some things done to them. They need to clean their act up, just like any church. If they don't mow the yard, they don't paint their church, they don't fix their doors, the congregation won't come. It's the same thing. My lot will be painted. We're going to spend $60,000 on a nice, beautiful gate. We're going to have beautiful parking area painted. It's going to be really pretty. We're going to have a lot of good customers. A lot of them are going to be people that are going to be from your congregation. The bank had 10 times the traffic that we have. And the bank's been empty for 2 years. You're all in favor of doing something different. What happened for the last 2 years? Guys, let's face it, I'm an opportunity to put tax money in the city of Shreveport, to put cars under people that need them, rear ends, and we can do this thing. I mean, it's going to be positive. If not, there's other laws out there to where y'all can put me out of business if I don't do what I say I'm going to do. I'm a man of my word. Trust me, go look at my other locations. You'll be impressed. Drive down there. I tried to call Mr. Cawthorn 4 or 5 times. He returned my phone call back one time. We were supposed to meet to try to figure out what I could do to help his, try to work things out, see if I could do something for his church, for his congregation, for the neighborhood, whatever. He called me back after I canceled my plans. He said, I'll see you in court. After the court, the first time here, I went to him and he said, I just wish all y'all would go out of business. That's not the way I think. I think we ought to grow, we ought to expand, we ought to do good things for this city. I asked one question: has crime increased or decreased since the bank went out of business? I don't know. That'd be something somebody stat-wise can figure that out. You said your license plate was stolen here recently. It was a vacant business. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone who has come and shared their time. The opposition doesn't have a rebuttal. Just the applicant has a rebuttal. All right. No, listen, Mr. Bishop, we just can't, by our rules, we can't have that exchange. So we've heard the applicant and opposition, support and opposition, and rebuttal to the commission. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion with steps.
With the steps.
Second.
I have a motion with the stipulations. I don't know what the stipulations.
It's wrong. It says something about stipulation.
Aisles and fire lane would be marked on the pavement.
What's the stipulation?
They were going to mark the fire lanes, so they couldn't just have cars parked everywhere it would be.
Okay.
They've already agreed to all the stipulations.
They've agreed to the stipulations. A motion by Mr. Remedies to approve the application, second by Mrs. Smith. Questions, comments? Just before we vote, I do want to say something, only because I'm concerned that as we host these meetings and we receive commentary from the public, whether persons support or oppose a certain thing, I think that individuals believe that the key to our decision making is whether or not we believe the testimony of the support or the opposition, and that we are to choose sides based on those testimonies. We have a different standard. That's the law, and that we have to do. So we can't really get engaged in contemplation of what something could be. We have to judge what's before us and what we are being asked to do. So I want to be sure that, because I think there's passion on all sides of these arguments, and the city council and the commission will be the final arbiters of all of these things. But when it comes to us, we don't have the luxury of being swayed by good commentary about the applicant or bad commentary